Guys, what's going on? Welcome everybody. I see everyone's piling in. This is a very exciting episode today. Very exciting. We're gonna be talking about XRP today. This is a big moment for THORChain, adding XRP. I'm already seeing people coming in. This is very good. So, to the new people that are going to be showing up, I appreciate you being here. And to the XRPers and various others who are going to be listening to this recording, thank you so much. We're not going to be wasting any time today. We're going to be getting right into it. Okay, I got some requests. Please just request, guys. And when you're up here, let me know with your mic check.
Test. How's it going, Patriot?
It's going well, buddy. Good to hear your voice. Love it, man.
Of course.
Guys, we're not. So one thing we want to be clear, we, a lot of people come up here and they mess around for 5 minutes. I want you to know we all respect your time and we appreciate new listeners and people who are going to be listening to this space on recording. We want to make sure that we get you the information here because it's going to be information dense today. We have a lot of exciting things to talk about. Eric, Kenton, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Excellent.
GM, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, Eric, I can hear you. Very, very good. Okay. We still got some speakers to come. So I don't see them yet in the audience, but that's okay. They'll get in here when they can. So guys, let's just do a quick introduction here. Okay. So XRP, for those who don't know, XRP is like infrastructure. Okay. It's like a settlement layer between various currencies. All right. So if you've got a currency denominated in one nationality and you want to send to another nationality, ordinarily you got to go through all these different intermediaries. Okay. I got Cal coming up. Sweet. And so that's really, really annoying because there's all these different third parties involved and a lot of fees. It's really time consuming. 2025, this should not be the case. Okay. So that's what XRP is for the people who don't know. I know we're going to have XRPers listening to this who are very familiar, but I want to make sure that I try to placate to or explain to both audiences. Okay. So we're going to get some introductions started here. And as more speakers come in, we'll try and get them fitted in as well. My name's Patriot Sounds. I've been an educator, moderator, content creator for THORChain for almost like 5 years now. So half a decade. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to go down the line here just to keep it simple. And I do have a message from Pragmatic Monkey that he's joining. Excellent. Okay, I'm going to go to Orion. Sir, please give an introduction of yourself.
Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Yeah, I go by Orion. I've been working on THORChain since 2021. I handle all sorts of various things in the community and on the protocol itself. I'm really stoked to be here and share what we've been up to and yeah, just have a great conversation. I'll kick it over to Eric.
GM, guys. I'm part of the MOCA team. MOCA is a platform that supports cross-chain swaps, but we are also working on cross-chain payments in real life and online businesses. And we're also working on an encrypted app that nobody knows what it is, but we do have an alpha stage right now, and we will release it in around 1 month. And it will change how people interact with THORChain, Maya Protocol, and Chainflip, and businesses. But yes, that's us.
Perfect.
I think I can send it over to Cal. Hey, man.
Hey, nice to see you, Eric. Yeah, I'm Cal. I am the founder of Leo Dex from the Leo ecosystem, and we are building our web app for cross.
Hey, can anyone hear Cal? I think he cut out there.
Cut out for me too.
Okay, Cal, I'll give you a few more seconds. If you're having some mic issues, no big deal. We'll come back to you. Okay, yeah, he dropped. Don't worry, Cal. We'll get you back up here, buddy. And by the way, guys, Cal, he is a specific interface. Any other interface that are in here who support XRP or, are adjacent to the ecosystem, you can come up here and promote yourself. This is all about information and educating people about the various ecosystem primitives that we have today. It's a very exciting time. Kenton, I'm going to kick it to you while we wait for Cal.
Sure, yeah. My name's Kenton. I guess I joined THORChain community around 2021, and in 23 I started the RUJI Rune fund to invest just in Rune and run nodes on THORChain. So I'm a node operator on THORChain, and I enjoy doing these spaces with you, Patriot. So hopefully we keep doing this on a weekly basis going forward.
Absolutely, brother. I definitely want to do that. Cal, it looks like you're back. You want to try your mic again?
Yeah. I don't know if you hear me on that. A Starlink connection. It looks like
Yeah, it's not a good connection, man.
Let
Go
me
ahead and
switch
yeah,
over quick.
no worries, brother. All right, Pragmatic Monkey, are you there?
Glad to be here with everyone. Hello.
Go ahead and give a brief introduction of yourself, good sir.
Oh yeah, sure, of course. So I'm formerly part of the Gojira community and team, and now part of the Rujira team. And we are building the app layer on top of THORChain, enabling access to DeFi with native assets from all connected chains. And of course, that means XRP as well. So for the first time in history, very soon XRP will be able to have access to DeFi effectively, despite not having a smart contract on their own platforms. So very excited about that.
Yes. And XRP people who are listening to this right now and live, there are so many things to cover. I need you guys to stick with us on this one. And like I said, we're going to try and go through efficiently, but this is going to be a very information dense space. You might have to listen to the recording a few times, but I promise you the juice is worth the squeeze. We got a lot of exciting things to talk about. I'm so pumped. Cal, I'm going to give you another shot, sir. And then let's go ahead and check your mic out, if you're there.
Hey, yeah. Should be good now. Sorry, I'm on a
Yep.
I'm on a Starlink connection, so I'm traveling. But I'm Cal, founder of LeoDex and the Leo ecosystem, and we're an interface for THORChain and have had XRP since the launch. So everything's going great and glad to be here.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you got that mic fixed. You're a great team. Very excited to have you up here. Okay, guys, do a quick rebound here. We have a lot of new people in this. And let me see, get this approval here. A lot of people in the crowd now. Just for people who don't know, because now I have to talk to two audiences. For those who don't know what XRP is, it's like infrastructure, okay? It allows people from one currency to go to currency A to go to currency B, cross-country, cross jurisdictions. This is very good because if you guys have ever tried to send a decent amount of money overseas, it's a nightmare with all the different intermediary banks, all the fees that are being siphoned. It's a nightmare. So XRP is very important infrastructure. XRP is number 4 on the market cap. So the fact that they haven't, oh, well, I don't want to get too far into it. Let me actually back up here. You're going to see there's a lot of similarities between XRP and THORChain. So this is where I'm going to kick it to Orion here. Orion, my friend, go ahead and let the XRPers know, what is THORChain and what does it do?
Yeah, thanks. So THORChain at its core facilitates any connected chain to swap to any other connected chain in the native asset. So you can come with your native XRP and swap that for USDC, Bitcoin, whatever it is that you want. And you can also go the other way. So if you want more XRP, you can bring your Bitcoin and swap it. And it's all native. And I think like that's the missing piece in a lot of these conversations is that there is no wrapping here. You're swapping native assets and all of the settlement is in that native asset. This is particularly powerful because we know that there's many flavors of wrapped asset, but those aren't the same thing. And so allowing users to get access to the native asset on its native chain in a permissionless and decentralized way is THORChain's core focus. Beyond that, THORChain has a lot of other utilities, but that's its main focus right now. And we've had a lot of success bringing that to users. And THORChain doesn't take a particular stance on one chain versus another. The stance is really that every chain has value and users will want to move between them, and that it can facilitate that in the most competitive way that it can. So that's the gist of THORChain. For XRP users, very excited to see you guys discover THORChain and how it can fit into your needs. And yeah, standing by to help you guys and answer any questions that come up.
Yeah, and any XRPers in the audience, please feel free to request to come ask questions, poke holes in what we're saying. We'd love the interaction. We'd love to have you up here. Orion is 100% correct, because someone actually asked me to try and get some XRP. This was back, I think it was like 2020 or something. I was pretty new to XRP back then, and I didn't know how to get it. And actually, I struggled trying to get to the centralized exchange where it was. So I actually never bought XRP back then, because the friction between me and buying XRP was too great. Okay. And that's what THORChain solves, you guys. So you can go from real layer one to another layer one. So you can go from Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Doge, AVAX, various stable coins, lots and lots of assets directly to XRP. So as an XRPer, why this is so important is now you have much less friction for people to come into your ecosystem. You guys have been siloed for so long. You've been on an island, and that's what THORChain does. Just like how you connect currencies from different countries, THORChain connects blockchains. It opens up the liquidity channels between various blockchains, so we're not all separated anymore. So now when you meet someone on the street and you get them excited about XRP, you now can say, well, if you got some Bitcoin, you got some Litecoin, like whatever the flavor of their layer one is, chances are really good that they can swap that layer one directly to XRP now. So this helps with on-ramping new people into your ecosystem. I'm going ahead, Kenton, I'm going to kick it to you. What's coming to your mind about this stuff?
Well, to be honest, I was thinking about meme coins. So like Ripple there's like, I don't know, 1 or 2 dozen meme coins on Ripple. And so I've been thinking about, and I think I want to say they're all pretty small market caps. They're not that big, nothing like we see on Solana or Ethereum. And so I'm wondering if the meme coin crowd, they chase different flavors of the day type thing. What if a lot of that meme coin money from Solana and Ethereum tokens flows into Ripple, into those meme coins? And the way they can do that is through, now that's possible, should be possible with THORChain, right? We can now start connecting all these, we can connect to Ethereum. Solana is coming up soon. But basically the meme coiners should be able to move from Solana, Ethereum to Ripple. And, that might be very interesting for Ripple people to know about.
Right, because I think you've experienced this too, Kenton. One thing that Ripple does very well is marketing. I think you've had the same experience me, where you find what would be called a normie on the street, and they come up to you and they're excited about Ripple, and they don't even know anything about Bitcoin or anything else. And it's just like, how in the hell did you hear about Ripple? Like, where did you hear XRP from? And so to me, that's amazing about XRP is that they're number 4 market cap, and they've been siloed this whole time in terms of like, there's no decentralized access to XRP. And that's an incredible accomplishment for their community. And guys, by the way, this is going to be a free-flowing conversation. So if anyone wants to interject or add any points, please feel free. So yeah, I think that's a really good point, Kenton. Like, now there's just so many channels that can go to XRP for them. And by the way, guys, let's do a mild shout out here, or actually a big shout out to XRP. For those who don't know, XRP was one of the ecosystems that really took the fight to the previous administration. I think it was like $200 million they spent on legal fees fighting the SEC and Gary Gensler. So we all owe XRP a bit of gratitude here. So I think it's very fitting that we've been able to facilitate this liquidity channels for them. I think it's great. Okay, guys. So XRPers, THORChain is basically the raw infrastructure that allows you to swap, right? That's all THORChain is. THORChain doesn't have its own interface. There's all these different interfaces. We're gonna talk about them in a little bit, but there are things that we can build on top of THORChain. Okay, that's going to add a lot of utility to XRP token now that it's supported. So now I'm going to kick it to Pragmatic Monkey. He is, if you missed the introduction, he is part of the Rujira team. Pragmatic, go ahead and tell XRPers what the heck you guys are building.
Okay, sure. So important to to start is what is Rujira, and Rujira effectively is the app layer on top of THORChain. So THORChain does, as Oyen was explaining, it's a native to native cross-chain swaps. You have Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain, you want ETH on the Ethereum chain, you can in sign transaction Bitcoin, and a few blocks later get your ETH on the other side. What Rujira does is we added this Cosmwasm app layer, so it's a smart contract technology using probably the best-in-class type of technology for smart contract. It's much more robust, much more secure than what you have on the EVM side with the Solidity. And we use that on top of THORChain to build an environment where effectively we can have all sorts of complex applications that leverage the native liquidity from all those connected chain on top of THORChain. And we do that using what we call secured assets, which effectively mean like you have a Bitcoin on the Bitcoin chain. You can deposit it into what we call on THORChain Asgard Vault, which effectively is a multi-party vault secured by the THORChain node operators, and without any intermediary, without any centralized point of failure, we can have native Bitcoin, a representation of native Bitcoin on the app layer, which we call native assets that we can use into DeFi. And we can do that for all the other chain. And so for XRP as well, it means that now we'll be able to have XRP, and you sign one transaction from your XRP wallet, and you get your XRP on Rujira, and it's fully decentralized, and it has absolutely no, it's permissionless, decentralized. Nobody can take it from you. You can redeem it anytime, one-to-one, and you can start to do all sorts of advanced things that you cannot do on XRP because the chain itself doesn't support smart contract. And so I can dig a bit into what you will be able to do. But for example, so the key product we will be starting with, which is now live with a limited set of assets, is RUJI Trade, which is 100% on-chain order book DEX. And so that means that soon enough, like we still need to do, because we are just getting live as well, so we still need to do a bit of more dev works to get a strategy that will virtualize the liquidity of THORChain based layer pool into our order book. But once we have that, you will effectively be able to come and from your XRP wallet, start to put, for example, limit order to buy or sell XRP for USDC, Bitcoin, or any other assets of connected chains directly into this environment in a fully decentralized fashion. So that means you don't have any more. If self-custody is important for you, and I admit I'm not super close to the XRP community, so I don't know how much of the cyberpunk value are enshrined in the culture, but it was one of the very first mover of in the blockchain space, so I assume it's fairly strong there. Well, up to now, your only way to trade, to transact with your XRP was to do that on centralized exchange. Now you will be able to do it 100% on chain in a way that is very similar in terms of user experience to what you are used to on centralized exchange. So I don't know if anyone has already tried our new interface. So it's limited set of tokens for now, but the UX is very good and very similar to what you will see on Binance or Kraken. And I think, I don't know of any other like spot DEX that do that as smoothly as we do. So very proud of what we have built here. And so you will be able to do that, of course, but that will open the gate for much more. So for example, now if you want to put your XRP at work, so XRP has a lot of volumes. That means, but all this volume is happening on centralized exchange. So for now, it's mostly professional market makers that are being mandated, are being paid, and to generate this volume, to manage this stock of XRP and stablecoins, and generate some fees in the form of spreads by facilitating exchanges. Well, now you will be able to do that as well. So if you, as an XRP member, wants to generate some yields on your XRP and do that, so we'll have different strategy, but we start with simple XYK strategy. So it means you will have a stock of half XRP, half USDC, let's say, but you could do that also with half XRP, half BTC if you don't want exposure to a stable coin. So it's a different risk profile than just buying and holding XRP, but it means that your upside is a bit capped because on the way up, you will be selling XRP for more USDC. But on the way down, you also your downside is protected, because as XRP fall, you will be using more of your USDC stock to buy XRP. And as long as XRP price move and there is volatility, you become yourself a market maker, and you will be earning a spread by facilitating volumes. And so that means it allows you to become a market maker. And it all sounds complex, but effectively it's a very simple product. It's all automatized, it's all on chain, it's all trustless, and you just have to deposit some XRP and some USDC or some BTC in pair into a vault, and you become a market maker and start generating yield on your assets. That's one thing you will be able to do. Then we will have also RUJI Perps, which is a perpetual future trading. What we could do if there is demand for that is open markets that take XRP as collateral. So for that means you will be able to deposit some stock of XRP you own and use the dollar value at current Oracle price of those XRP to open leverage long or short position on any token. So it can be a way to increase your capital efficiency. And if you want to trade without having to sell your XRP, you can do that. But it also means you can have some more advanced strategy where you can, like, for example, have a hedged position in XRP. You put some XRP as collateral, but you also short it at a certain level, and then you are price protected because your collateral value move in the same direction. Actually, it's the opposite direction as your short position, and so you can start to do more like an advanced strategy if you wish to. Then after that, we will have also a lending market, which means that you will be able 100% on chain to come deposit XRP as collateral and borrow USDC or whatever token you want to borrow. And that's very powerful, because if you want, like, if you are long-term bullish XRP and you don't want to sell it, most likely, but you still want to fund some acquisition in the real world, maybe you want to finance your life, buy a new car, or do whatever you want to do with your money. Well, you can do that without selling your XRP by just depositing collateral, taking a loan against it. And of course, there is risk with that, in the sense that if XRP go down in value, you could get liquidated, so you still have to manage your position. But if you do that with a reasonable amount of risk, so you open a loan at, say, like 30% LTV, you can do that with a very limited risk, and it allows you to unlock some of the value of your token without having to sell them. So that's quite powerful, and that's what a lot of people in DeFi have been using throughout the cycles to stay in this space and continue financing their life without having to sell their token. And if you believe in this long-term vision that cryptos with finite supply will always be outperforming dollar or any other fiat money that has an ever-increasing supply, then it makes a lot of sense to do that, even if you have a small interest rate you are being charged on your loan. And because there is some lending products, there will also be some opportunity to liquidate. So you can take the other side of the trade. If people who have taken leverage against XRP start to be at risk because market correct, well, you can play the other side and being the one bidding in we have a Dutch auction system, bidding on at-risk collateral and buy effectively the local low when XRP fall at a discount to market price. That's also quite a fun product that we'll be launching on the app layer. Next to that, well, we will have a Launchpad where anybody can come and pitch his project and try to raise capital for the community to start something. And now, because we'll have access to native assets, what we hope, we want to welcome also a lot of new builders to come and help us bring this economic layer, this new economy on top of THORChain. And we would really like to see also people from the XRP community. There are devs there with ideas who want to build some protocols, some products with smart contracts, and that were not able to do that before because it was no smart contract on XRP. You can come to us, you can present to the community your idea, create a white paper, start with a small proof of concept to show that you are not a scam project, that you can actually deliver, and then start building a community, either mixing your XRP long-term followers with new people from our ecosystem, and we collaborate, and then you can launch a token using the Launchpad, raise some capital, and get started on the app layer to build whatever product you want to build, and you can do something like more tailored for the XRP community. So that's another thing very exciting about. And beyond that, we'll have also like a an NFT marketplace. So if you want to introduce the concept of NFT and this interesting cultural element into the XRP ecosystem, well, now you will be able to do that via Rujira. And beyond that, like, we will have a lot more products. So we have external, we'll have also options, for example. So that's something we'll have down the line. We'll have a Bitcoin by stablecoin. Well, if there is demand for that, we could also do a stablecoin that takes XRP as collateral. It's a possibility. And then we will have, like, we have builders building all sorts of different projects on top of the core applications. And one, for example, is called RUJI Index, by the NAMI protocol team. And what they do, so they will be launching a set of different indexes. And one of those indexes now, XRP is there, will be, they will be able to make an index with native XRP together with, for example, native BTC and native ETH. And you could do like three token factors, the top 3 or top 4, taking XRP, some stablecoin, BTC, and ETH, and have 100% on-chain decentralized index with XRP. So that's quite cool. And we will have also like much more other products building. So there is a team, very cool team called Rujira. They built all sorts of more advanced automated strategies, and that will allow also like people in the XRP community to access more custom strategy. Like if you like to trade your XRP, you will be able to automatize a big part of that and put it at work in different ways. And one of the things the Rujira team is building is RUJI AI, which will be this ChatGPT-like interface, which will allow you to do all those things by just chatting via chat. So that's the first starting point. But later on, they're already working on autonomous agents. And so that means XRP community will also be able to have access to those autonomous agents that can trade, for example, XRP on their behalf or do all sorts of things and get really XRP finally integrated into DeFi, because up to that day, it was only possible to do stuff with XRP on centralized exchange. So it's time now. Eventually, we as a crypto community need to win and move more and more of the business that we can on-chain, and it starts with a crypto native business. And so for a project like XRP, it makes a ton of sense to start transitioning more towards smart contracts and decentralized application rather than relying on centralized exchange only. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff we are building, and we will be offering to the XRP community and to actually any other community of protocols connected to THORChain that don't have a smart contract layer. Then, well, now you got one. So please be in touch if there's anything you want to add or contribute. And we are really excited to get you included in our ever-growing family.
Yes, and guys, what did I say? I said this space is going to be very information dense, and Pragmatic Monkey just dropped like 10 nuclear bombs right there. Okay, you're going to have to listen to the recording again. Okay, the way I think of it is, you ever seen the Matrix movies, like that hallway, and there's like a bunch of doors on each side, right? This is like with getting XRP onto THORChain. It's like all those doors opened up at once. And now you can go like in 100 different directions. Okay, this is like a Cambrian explosion of innovation for XRP. Well, first let's talk about that for a second. So Orion, my understanding is SwapKit, which is an API aggregator. I think XRP is now live on Ledger, because I think XRP people hold a lot of their token on Ledger, right? So now that swaps are available, so like why is this a good thing for XRP? Like, what's in it for us? Like, why is this a mutually beneficial relationship between XRP and THORChain? Like, what do we get out of it? What do they get out of it? Just like put simply.
Yeah, so just there's a couple of things there I'll unpack. First off, on the Ledger side of things, certainly there's demand for access to native cross-chain swaps from Ledger users that hold XRP. So that's going to take a bit of time to get rolled out. I'm not going to speak for SwapKit on that, but stay tuned for their news source there. But the other thing that I wanted to just mention is that like the big value prop for wallet users is whatever wallet you use, you can bring your utility or XRP utility to that wallet. So just hitting on what Pragmatic Monkey said, all of that full Sublime DeFi stack of lending, trading, all of that now is accessible to XRP holders via this THORChain integration. And I think that's the big message here is that all of the benefits of DeFi are now available right out of the box.
Right. And whenever you have, like, if you have a different wallet, like, or any interface on the XRP ecosystem, because I'm not an expert on XRP ecosystem. Okay. So anyone listen to this, if I get things wrong, please don't crucify me. We have a lot, when you learn about different ecosystem, it's a lot of information. But the one thing that's really good about THORChain is if you have a specific wallet that XRPers like, that's not part of THORChain, they can actually integrate THORChain and charge fees for swaps. So providing a service. So like the one thing that's really good for like THORChain is when we have XRP, we get swap volume, and THORChain, between the liquidity providers and the bond providers nodes, we get fees, right? So that's how we make money. And then XRP can get more users exposed to their ecosystem as well, because all these different layer ones that were never connected in any meaningful way to XRP now are. Because everyone had to go to a centralized exchange in order to get some exposure to XRP. But even if you do that, right, hopefully I'm not speaking too simple here, centralized exchanges, you don't have XRP. You have a digital representation of it, okay? This is real layer one assets that are now connected to other layer one assets. So if you have any wallets or any part of your ecosystem, reach out to Orion and Pragmatic Monkey, because there's all these different new economic primitives that they can charge fees for and make money. Because before THORChain, how did a wallet make money? They had to do like all these different, maybe VC or these gimmicky things. But now you're providing a service that was once only available on centralized exchanges. And all the things that Pragmatic Monkey said, these are all adjunct to what you guys want to do in the XR community, because you guys have all these different plans. I was trying to go through it all. There's so many things you guys are building. This is a great complement to XRP because it's just more utility, more activity with your base asset. Very exciting. Cal, you have your hand raised. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things for me about XRP is their ecosystem is just massive, and you were kind of touching on that. I think it's like, as someone in crypto for a long time, you kind of get siloed in what you're building and what you're fascinated by, but like you said, you start digging into these other ecosystems, and it's just like an onion. Like you just peel back one layer and find 10 more things to go chase after and go down the rabbit hole. And XRP is a $120 billion market cap token, so they're clearly doing a lot of good things and getting a lot of volumes, in their own respective fields. And I don't know if you guys have used XRP much. I hadn't used it much until this integration, but it's super fast. Like you do anything with it, and it's just settles so quickly. So that's been awesome to use. And in terms of wallets, I've been kind of diving deeper into this. XRP users are very diverse. So I just kind of wanted to touch on that and say, we've got Ledger integrated on LeoDex. So we've noticed, some XRP users coming there and using their Ledger to connect and do stuff. But I think one big thing for everyone in terms of THORChain UIs is to support some of these more fringe wallets, let's say, or wallets that aren't, they don't really support other things than XRP. So there's some other wallets and some other integrations out there that I've been looking deeper into. But when you walk down the street and you just kind of talk to crypto people or people about crypto, you realize that there's a lot of people that know about XRP and know way more about XRP than any other crypto. So I think it's like this really unique kind of sector of the industry. And I think that's why this integration is so huge for THORChain. is it taps into this market that like THORChain is very like deep crypto, right? Like it's kind of you know, for the people that have been around for a while. But when you talk to people about other cryptocurrencies like XRP, they're just like your everyday average Joe. But they know so much about XRP, and you're like, you know, holy shit, there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, 100%. Go ahead, Kenton.
I just wanted to add to that. So if there's anyone listening is an XRP holder, fan of Ripple, whatever you want to call yourself, whatever wallet you have or are using to hold Ripple can have THORChain integrated, and all those features, everything Pragmatic Monkey was talking about, your full access, that full suite of DeFi can all be accessed through the wallet you use, so long as that wallet has the motivation to just implement it, to integrate it. There's no like THORChain doesn't. No one's charging the wallet to have this functionality. The only cost for the wallet is the developer's time to just implement it, to just get it there. And you know, with people like Orion and Pragmatic Monkey, you know, there's developers on the THORChain side that will help wallets like hold their hands and like get this stuff integrated, because yeah, it benefits THORChain, but also benefits you know, the user, you know, the wallet. So you know, we both win. This is a win-win relationship. So anyone there who holds Ripple and is hearing this and like, wow, I want to play around with this. I don't want to change wallets. You like the wallet you have. You can go to your wallet and tell them, and hey, bug them. Hey, I want these features. I want to start using this stuff and playing around with it. They can do it. There's no reason they can't. They absolutely can if they're motivated. I'm you know, Orion can correct me if I'm wrong. It'll probably only take a few weeks, really. And there's no hard dollar cost. It's just developer time. So there's really no reason for any Ripple wallet to not want to implement, you know, integrate THORChain, have any of these features, make it accessible to you. So yeah, go ahead, Orion.
Yeah, just wanted to tie into that a bit, what Kenton's saying here. So if you're a wallet and you're listening and you're curious about integrating THORChain and the feature set that it provides your XRP users, please reach out. You know, this is you know, something that we care very deeply about, is just getting users access to these features. We'll fly out, sit with your engineering team. We'll bend over backwards to make it all happen. And you know, we're standing by to empower your devs as much as possible to make it as seamless as we possibly can. In terms of like development time, yeah, it's measured in days, really. So we can make it happen here and standing by.
Right. And guys, by the way, if you want to speak, don't raise your hand because it just glitches, and then I just have hands, they get stuck for some reason. But Orion is 100% correct. We have matured to the point where things we built, they just kind of just slot right in. And Orion and Nine Realms team, they're some of the best. They have done this so many times. They're experts. And like we said, like this does no cost to you besides the development time. Like Kenton said, we want you to integrate THORChain. We want you to make swaps, right? Because we're making, and it's not a lot. I think the minimum basis points is, what is it? It's 7 now or 5. No, it's 5, right? So it's like there's 10 basis points of minimum slippage cost, which is like nothing. And then as the affiliate, whether it's someone from like the XRP community, like a wallet, like you can charge, I think like this, like people, it usually ranges between like 50 basis points to 100 basis points, right? So you're making money on integrating THORChain. Like Kenton said, this is just a win-win. Everyone wins. There's more swap volume for us. You guys get to get a whole new economic primitives that your people can enjoy. So yeah, please reach out to Orion. Please reach out to Pragmatic Monkey. They are standing by, and they are some of the most professional teams. They will get you going right away. We have another speaker up here. I'm going to go to Eric. Eric, he introduced himself in the MOCA team, but they have a very interesting product that they are developing. So Eric, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor for a little bit. Why don't you go ahead and tell them what you guys are building over at MOCA?
Yeah, but I just want to piggyback right on what you guys said before. The XRP and the Ripple ecosystem is incredibly big. It's not just that it's a big market cap, but it's also that normal people hold the token. They are interested in what the company behind the token is doing, and they have been holding for years. You just mentioned a couple of minutes ago that they just went through a big lawsuit with the SEC. Everyone knows about Ripple and XRP. And if your cab driver has any exposure to crypto, odds are it's going to be XRP. Why? Because it's the most known crypto outside of the bubble where we live in. We might hear a lot about Solana, Avalanche, BSC, etc. But the normies, they know about XRP. And here's the thing: once they hear about being able to make payments with XRP without having to go through hoops on centralized exchanges or having to change their holdings to fiat to buy something, that's going to be another utility for their token. And that's what we're doing here at THORChain. We have different interfaces that solve specific issues. And one of them is going to be crypto payments by MOCA. And what excites me the most is that once we get enough businesses to accept MOCA with a simple QR code scan, the snowball effect, not just for XRP, but also for other tokens in the THORChain ecosystem, is going to be incredibly big, because then people are going to be able to say, oh, yeah, so now I can pay with XRP, but I also can pay with RUNE, I can pay with Cacao, I can pay with USDC, all from your wallet. So every wallet that accepts that integrates THORChain through SwapKit is going to be able to connect to the MOCA ecosystem, and they will be able to make payments through MOCA from their own wallet to businesses online and in real life. So that's going to be huge, because people are not going to have to migrate. Like Kenton said, people love what they are used to, and they are not going to migrate wallets. But if we can make them, or we can convince them to use THORChain and to make payments through MOCA, the THORChain ecosystem is going to explode. And here's one thing, guys. There's 30 people in the space, and I basically recognize 95% of them. So I know that you're part of the cross-chain eco, either Rujira, THORChain, or Maya. So let's take it upon ourselves and share this space right now. Reblog it, leave a comment, ask a question, even if you already know the answer. Why? To tell the algorithm, hey, this space is interesting. Share it with other people. And then once the space is over, with the Coke is doing some snippets of the space. Share those. Take it upon yourself to share what's being spoken about in this space, because it's upon us to make this integration with XRP be known by the XRP community. There's not a lot of holders of XRP here on X. Reddit has more than 500,000 people in their subreddit. In here, not so much. So it's up to us to spread the word.
Yes, and that was well said. And like XRP guys, and most people, when they listen to space, it's thousands of people and they listen to the recording. Okay, so if you like what you're hearing so far, listening to this recording, please tag your XRP friends. Please share this in forums and in various locations where you guys are at. We want to reach out to you guys, because this is something, this relationship now is extremely powerful. And as Eric was saying, right, MOCA is a settlement layer when it comes to using purchasing goods and services for anything. And if you're a coffee shop, MOCA, right? Or if you're a car dealership, or maybe you have a physical therapy place, or you're a veterinary clinic, it does not matter. Okay. And XRP, what they want to do, they want to be the settlement layer for many, many different things, right? So with MOCA, this is the perfect opportunity for people to get used to the idea of buying things and purchasing things with XRP, right? Or if you are a business and you like XRP, you can get MOCA, and then you can choose the asset that you want to hold as the settlement layer, right? Because what happens is, if you go, like, let's say someone has Litecoin and they want to go buy something, that Litecoin goes to THORChain, it gets swapped into the assets, or Maya protocol, I should say. It gets swapped to the asset and it gets deposited to the business's address. So maybe as a business, you just want to hold XRP. Well, now that's possible. And that actually, when you sell products, that's technically buy pressure on XRP because you have exogenous assets from other ecosystems being swapped to XRP, and that's going directly to your wallet, guys. So this is the perfect opportunity to get the people who have been holding XRP for years and they believe in what you guys are building using XRP now for real world goods and services. This is a 0 to 1. This is a 0 to 1 on multiple levels. And there are so many things that are happening. Again, there is so much information crammed in here. It's just all the doors have opened. And the days, weeks, and months and years ahead are very, very exciting. So I want to reach out to the XRP people. Please DM me, Orion, Pragmatic Monkey, Kenton, any of the speakers up here. We want to make inroads to your community because this relationship is potentially so powerful between us. So I mean, it's hard to encapsulate the whole thing. There's so many moving pieces. It's it's pretty wild. Kenton, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was actually, we're trying to, talk about how big a deal this is for XRP users, and it is, and it might take them a while to sink in, like how like THORChain opens up like a whole new world for them. And what I'm kind of curious, actually, is kind of hoping to ask Orion, like, this is kind of it's also a big deal for THORChain because it wasn't like this took us, well, not us, it took you guys, a day or two to implement Ripple. I mean, this has been in the works now for months, and it wasn't simple. It's simple for the new wallets to, now that THORChain had Ripple trading, it's easy for any wallets now to integrate THORChain and piggyback on that. But it wasn't simple for THORChain to get Ripple live like this. And so I was kind of curious and hoping to hear from Orion, what was that journey like? How long did it really take? Were there some hurdles along the way? At any point where you're like, well, this might not work, or, I'm curious about that whole journey and how we got here.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's see, the journey started in kind of before December of 2024 when we were looking at, what were potential chains to add and, kind of evaluating impact there. And the Strangelove team volunteered to take on the XRP Ripple integration. And they were working on it for quite a while throughout the first part of the year in order to build out the Bifrost integration, build out the deployment for the daemon and all of the moving pieces that are required for THORChain to observe transactions on the chain. And then, once that work had been done, there was quite a bit of back and forth between Strangelove, Nine Realms, and community devs in order to make sure that that was in a solid spot. Then that has been on StageNet, which is a live testing environment with real assets for a couple, for quite a while now, I think a couple months. And then, some more testing, we found some more issues there, making sure that it was all very smooth. One of the big hurdles that we ran into is just how to compose memos properly for on Ripple on it for XRP. And so just working on that took a bit of time and finally, kind of landed with, where things are at currently. And then, this all got deployed to mainnet over the last couple of weeks. And we're off to the races. So it's been a hero's journey with a lot of participants to get it across the line. Big shout out to the Strangelove team, Nine Realms folks that participated, really appreciate that. And then, a lot of community contribution as well to make sure that we got it tested.
You should probably invited the Strangelove team. I brain farted on that. I didn't think about it. So if they're listening, hope you don't feel left out or anything like that. But you mentioned the memos, Orion. Is it was it the memo space, or actually just being able to write the memo period?
It was the memo formatting and kind of back to our earlier conversation, wallet support for the specific memo format. So that was a challenge in initial testing. Des had to just write scripts in order to send those transactions. But now that things are live and a lot of folks can, or a lot of UIs can start testing things, it sounds like that's kind of resolving at this point. But that was the challenge that we faced, early on.
And so there's just to help the newbies to THORChain here, they're listening. The way THORChain works is the way THORChain is able to swap all these different cryptocurrencies is by utilizing the memo field of each cryptocurrency. That's it's core to how THORChain works, right?
Yeah. Thanks for the clarification there. Yeah, so that folks understand broadly, when you send a transaction into THORChain, your kind of intention is encoded in a memo that lets you know, or that lets the protocol process, your incoming USDC, and that your intention is to receive XRP, for example. And so being able to have THORChain's, one of its core functions is handling those memos to enact, the user's goal. And so there's always, with every new chain, there's always a little bit of work to be done to make sure that we can get it into a format that THORChain can process, and then kind of proceed with the swap so that it is all seamless and under the hood.
Yeah, because every crypto has a different memo field for, like, they utilize it's structured differently between different cryptocurrencies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's part of the role of Bifrost, in addition to the Thor node logic, is how we handle all those things. So yeah, it's been a journey, but it's awesome to see that we're here, and like there's a lot of momentum on new chain integrations now that the wheels are greased, and yeah, it's time to really push forward. Another important point here is that every new chain that we add provides more and more utility to every other chain. And I'm excited to see, over the next few months as we add chains, what that multiplicative effect looks like in terms of volume and utilization for THORChain and all of the various chain maxis as well.
I agree with you. I think I forget what the concept is called, but in economics, it's like supply side economics or something. Like, usually in market, there's a demand and then there's a supply, but there's also the theory that by creating the supply, you also create the demand. And I think that can definitely happen with THORChain. Like, this is, like, for example, Ripple has never been on a DEX before. So, to say there's no demand for it, well, but it's never existed before. So how do we know there's no demand? So by THORChain making this real, it could unlock a whole bunch of demand. Who knows? So it'll be really interesting to see how it all unfolds going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing that I think is really exciting at this point in time, in like where we stand in history too, is that this notion of DeFi, has kind of permeated a lot of what I think of as like traditional financial institutions, and they're more and more keen to participate. And so, with the addition of Ripple in particular, there's a lot of institutional folks that participate there, and providing more and more utility for them, is a really big opportunity to just grow adoption and grow, just grow the whole pie for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And so I also wanted to ask you, I don't know if you can disclose this or not, but there was outside pressure on THORChain devs to get Ripple added. It wasn't just us wanting to do it because we think it's a good idea. Like, there's some wallets that were specifically asking for this, right? And can you mention what wallets those were?
Well, let me, I'm going to be a bit general here, but to just put it into perspective, like a lot of crypto projects, they have a technology stack and then go look for problems to solve with that. THORChain is very unique in that it started with a problem and then figured out the solution. And kind of with that same ethos, listening to what wallets were looking for, and then building out what they needed, was kind of the crux of a lot of this development. So the largest wallets have a lot of XRP holders, but there isn't a lot of utility for them. So those wallets are looking to provide swaps, as well as other access to DeFi, so that the wallets themselves can monetize that with a fee, for example, but then also provide that utility to their users. And so kind of THORChain is uniquely qualified to connect these kind of island chains that don't have as much interop to the rest of crypto, as kind of Patriot was alluding to earlier. So I think like the big thing here is, yes, we were hearing from wallets that they had huge amounts of XRP that was held by their users, and that there wasn't a lot of connective tissue. So that was an immediate call to action for us to figure out how to make it possible to bring XRP onto THORChain to just unlock that for the whole industry.
Cool, thanks. Lenny, I've got nothing else. If anybody else wants to jump in.
Well, we do have a new speaker up here. We have Ray. Go ahead and test your mic, Ray. How you doing? I'm going to give you a few seconds to see if you can figure that out.
And if there's anybody in the XRP holders audience want to jump up and speak, please, everyone's welcome. Just request to come on up. We don't, if we don't see your request, it's not on purpose. Sometimes Twitter can be a bit glitchy, but we approve everybody. So feel free to come on up and talk.
Yes. And if there's any other interfaces or wallets or anything up here who want to say that they have XRP added, or if they want to promote their ecosystem, please do. Because the part of this space is we want to just put as much information as we can for the XRP community to chew on. There is a huge ecosystem now that's willing and able and very excited now to use XRP in a variety of different ways. Especially on the pragmatic monkey side. Looks like Ray dropped there. He might be having some connection issues there. Orion, one thing I wanted to ask you is, so, we have all these interfaces on THORChain, but are interfaces even necessary? Like, what is the bare minimum you need to swap to XRP or swap from XRP?
Yeah, that's a great question. So just a bit of context for everybody. The way that THORChain processes a swap is by observing a transaction into one of its vaults with that memo field that we were speaking about earlier, and then enacting the logic on that memo. So an example might be like USDC gets sent into the ETH router, and then that gets processed to an XRP outbound transaction to the user, and they have specified the address that they want to receive their XRP natively in the memo that they sent in on the inbound leg, for example. So taking a step back to answer your question, the minimum amount of or the kind of lowest barrier to entry here, or highest barrier to entry, but like the easiest way to interact with THORChain would be by composing that memo yourself. I don't recommend that for everyday users, but if you are a curious dev, you're absolutely welcome to do that. And there's lots of great documentation on the THORChain docs on how to compose those memos. And that's a lot of what interfaces do, is help construct that memo so that it is going to get processed appropriately for the end user. I'd also just say that there's a lot of interfaces do a lot to make sure to kind of safeguard users and make sure that their transactions are going to have the highest likelihood of being completed properly. So I just wanted to say, like, if you're a layman, I highly recommend using an interface. If you're curious, use a little bit and experiment, but that's kind of the fundamentally how THORChain works.
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong, Orion, but Nine Realms, they used the treasury to seed the pool initially, right? And so it was like something a little over 200K was added to the pool for swap volume. Is that right?
Yeah, so the just to be clear, the treasury, the THORChain treasury and Nine Realms are kind of distinct entities. But I worked with the THORChain treasury in order to seed the XRP pool with around 200K total liquidity. The notion being that we wanted to have enough liquidity there for swaps to be processed, UIs to test things out, and then we'll work with the Ripple Foundation as well as others to bring more liquidity as all of these various integration partners like wallets and front ends come online with support to be able to better serve users and try to reduce the slippage on swaps there. So it's going to be a longer process. It's not an immediate thing, but I think everything's going to grow together where there's liquidity as well as demand.
Right. I'm so glad you said that, because that's where I was kind of going towards, is the capital efficiency of THORChain is truly insane. We have swaps, XRPers, those who are going to listen to this, there are swaps that are like 1.5 that are 2x the size of the entire depth of the pool. Okay. And these swaps are often being executed for like less than 50 basis points. Orion, how is that possible? How is THORChain able to take these huge swaps that go into the pool, and the pool is shallower than the swap itself? Like, what are the innovations we've made that help with that capital efficiency?
Yeah, that's a great question. So at the crux of it, what THORChain does with those very large swaps is that it breaks that super large swap into what we call sub swaps. And then it streams those sub swaps through the pool over time to allow for ARBs and market makers to bring new inventory to keep the slippage that the user realizes very low. And that's been a huge innovation for THORChain, and allows for these massive swaps to be processed at a really high execution quality. And that's something that the devs monitor very closely, because that's, at the end of the day, that's the goal, is to make sure that the user gets the most that they possibly can out of their swap, and that execution quality is high. That feature that I just described is called streaming swaps, and has been an incredible unlock. We see volume to depth ratios for pools, exceeding 2 or 3x often, and that is entirely due to that feature. So all of this being said, more liquidity in the XRP pool in particular will be extremely advantageous to help minimize or to just improve execution quality. But THORChain has awesome features that also allow for that to be optimized in the user's favor. So yeah, it's a combination of everything. And at the end of the day, we want the best execution for users on THORChain, and that's how we accomplish it.
Yeah, the streaming swaps innovation was one of the greatest 0-to-1s that helped us with this amazing. I mean, before we had minimum slip fees, we were we'd have multi-million-dollar swaps, like $1 million swap, and it was getting like 3 basis points or less. And just to put the math there, like to swap $1 million on THORChain when there was no minimum slippage fees. Again, I think it's like 5 if I'm not mistaken right now. That's $300 to swap $1 million. I mean, that's like, there's nothing in TradFi or anywhere else that's anything like that. It's absolutely bananas when it comes to the swap execution. We have a new speaker up, the THORChain account, but I want to make sure I go to Kenton real quick, because Kenton, are you confined on time? I'm so thankful that you're here, and I appreciate you here, making time to come here. But are you good to hang out for a little bit, or do you need to go?
No, I'm good. I'm good to hang out for a bit. My plans changed, so don't worry about me. We'll keep going. Yeah.
I love that stuff. THORChain, the main account is up. Go ahead. Glad to have you up here. might have some mic problems here. That's the thing with X spaces, guys. Like it's never easy. I mean, the people who come up here and are like some of the most technically savvy people ever. It's like we've reached the pinnacle of technology when it comes to things on X. Like you better be happy with this. This is as good as it gets. So it is what it is.
You can trade XRP
THORChain
across
is just
chain, but you
engaged.
can't connect to X spaces.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I know.
I mean, he's probably just engagement farming. So
yeah,
that's fine.
It's all right. Yeah. And okay, so let's shift gears a little bit here. Let's talk about like so Ripple, we mentioned Ripple about, if they want to like make maybe like an LP position or help improve the depth of the pools, like Orion, I'm going to pull you in again just because you are the expert on this. Like, how does THORChain keep assets safe in the liquidity pools? Like how does the dynamic, between node operators and LPs exist? Like what are the safeguards there?
Yeah, so THORChain has a unique kind of security model compared to any other chain that I'm aware of. So the way that this works is that THORChain is the kind of orchestration layer of a series of vaults that are secured with TSS, which is threshold signature signing, and the notion here is that a set of nodes participate in that signing membership, and they custody those assets collectively. And then they also post a bond, which if they misbehave can get taken away from them. So they have an incentive in order to custody those assets safely and process swaps on behalf of users. And there's a lot more complexity to it, but at the end of the day, the cool part about all of this is that everybody's aligned to the same goal, which is processing swaps. The nodes themselves get compensated by that liquidity fee that you pay through a pool, and then the user gets the asset that they need and are willing to pay for that service. And then the LPers also get a portion of that fee. And then all of this is facilitated by those nodes that post the bond to secure the assets and the system more broadly. So that's kind of a high level overview. There's a lot more complexity in order to how that all works. But suffice to say, if you want to provide liquidity, you are kind of taking on the risk that the nodes are incentivized to protect your assets. And the way that they show that they are is by posting this bond that can be taken from them if they misbehave.
Okay. And I cut out a little bit, so I hope you didn't answer this. I missed it. If you did, just tell me no. But let's say we got Kenton up here. Kenton is he helps run nodes, right? Let's say Kenton has an evil twin brother, and he just stabs Kenton in the back and takes his clothes and assumes his identity, and he's now a bad node operator. And for everyone listening, Kenton is an absolute rock star node operator. But this is just a fun exercise. Like, what happens when node operators misbehave on THORChain? Like, what happens there? Kenton, if you want to answer that, you can go ahead.
No, let Ryan go. I thought you were going to ask me.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So just so in this scenario, a single node that misbehaves, they will get slashed, which means that they'll either kind of be put in timeout where they don't earn yield for a particular period of blocks, or if the kind of offense is severe enough, they have their bond slashed. And that's what I was alluding to earlier, where if a set of nodes that jointly custody a vault misbehave, they will be slashed. Their bonds will be slashed proportion or larger than the proportion of what they may have stolen or something like that. So that's kind of the notion there, is that nodes will be punished if they misbehave according to the rules of the system.
Right. And that's kind of what I was alluding to. Like, for XRPers that are listening to this, like, there is nothing on THORChain that requires altruism or is contingent on, nodes behaving, right? Like, the system is designed to incentivize good behavior. It doesn't make any assumptions, okay? And that's why THORChain is built the way it is, because for years as building THORChain, we've constantly wargamed, trying to think of ways of how a third party or a new validator set would come in and try to do something bad and like maybe steal funds or whatever. And our entire goal is to make it as hard and as robust as possible to protect the liquidity in THORChain. And I think we've been very successful in that. And in terms of some incentives, like Kenton, you're a node operator, and you compete with other node operators. Like, what are your goals as a node operator? Like, what are you know, when it comes to like acquiring BPs, like how do you just explain like your mentality as a node operator, like what you try to be the best at, if that makes sense.
As far as being a node, well, I want to make I want to make money, same as everyone else.
Yeah.
But I guess for me, being a node operator on THORChain, just I guess customer service, talking to people. I'm doxxed, so you know I'm 100% pro privacy, absolutely, guys. But in my opinion, the only way THORChain is really going to truly scale and grow, become the biggest exchange in the world, is some of the node operators have to be doxxed. And by have to be, I mean, the reason I say that is just to attract you know, large sums of capital to be bond providers. Like there's, you know, a lot of people, they don't want to, you know, bond their RUNE with an anonymous person. They want to know that this person is real. They can talk to them, maybe have a contract with them, whatever. And so that's you know, what I decided I'm going to try and do my part to fill that role. I think it's great actually having both doxed and anonymous. I think that's like probably the best you can ask for. And then also just basically providing people that, you know, an easy way to bond their, you know, to get involved in running nodes on THORChain. I make it as easy as possible, no matter what your sophistication level, no matter how you want to do it, retail, institutional. I can pretty much, whatever situation you're in, maybe you've never even owned crypto before and RUNE's the first token, to you're an institution, been in it for 10 years and you've got, you know, millions of RUNE you want to do something with. I can help everybody and anybody in between. Is that what you're looking for? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. I just wanted you to, like, as a node operator, like how you see yourself. And actually glad you mentioned that, Kenton, because, you know, there is a dynamic on node operators where you have node operators like Kenton that are doxxed, and you have other ones that are doxxed as well. And then you have anonymous node operators as well. And I agree. I think that's actually the best of both worlds, because if you have node operators that are doxxed, like yourself, Kenton, you know, you are held to account by a legal authority not to do anything wrong, right? And in that case, if you are, let's say there's anonymous node operators, and let's just say they're all bad. They're not, but we're just going to war game this out, right? They're going to realize, like, well, I can't really collude with these operators because they're doxxed, and they're not incentivized to steal funds because you know, they'll be held legally accountable. So there's no way I can get enough nodes to take over the network, because these legalized entities are not going to do that. And then on the flip side, because not every node operator is doxxed, that means we are much more defensive when it comes to, let's just say, an attack from like an actor on a state level or whatever, right? You can insert the thing like that. So it's a healthy dynamic to have some anonymity, and then also have some node operators that are doxxed that give a proper legal framework. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but I also want to add on to and expand to it and loop this. Why does this matter to you, the XRP holder? So being doxxed doesn't mean you can't steal, right? Look at Sam Bankman-Fried, right? It's still $8 billion, $10 billion, right? So it just makes it harder to get away with. And so that, you know, adds a barrier to entry to theft. But people can still, even doxxed people can still steal. And all the major thefts in crypto, everything bad you've heard about, in crypto has been on exchanges and bridges, like the platforms to trade crypto. And this is really what THORChain is. One of the things THORChain is trying to solve is that problem, that theft. And you know, you look at like FTX, Coinbase, Binance, even Kraken. I'm a fan. I think Kraken is probably one of the best centralized exchanges. But you know, a lot of them are all like 2 of 3 multi-sigs, maybe 11 of 17 or whatever. You know, THORChain is what are we at now? Like a 75 of 115 multi-sig or something like that. Like forgive my math, but we've got I think 116 nodes. So whatever 2/3 of those of 116 nodes have to come together to sign a transaction, and or to steal the crypto from the exchange. So you basically need to get upwards of 80 nodes to come together to collude and to try and steal. And it's much more difficult if they don't know each other, and different jurisdictions, all that kind of stuff. So that is a good thing about kind of nodes being anonymous and not talking to each other, is that helps secure the network. That plausible deniability, if you will. Whereas like at Binance, for example, they all know each other, they all talk. If they all wanted to work together to steal, they can. The only thing stopping them really is just the authorities would go after them, right? They should be easy to catch, just like Sam Bankman-Fried. He was easy to catch. So this is what THORChain is trying to solve, and make it hard for people to steal from the exchange. And so the more nodes on the network, in theory, the harder it is for any one node or one entity to steal from the network. And whereas like Coinbase and Binance and those other centralized exchanges, their security posture is essentially fixed in a lot of ways. They're not gaining more directors, more managers, more people holding keys. THORChain is. Every time there's more nodes, the network is more secure. So where I'm going with all this is, your Ripple, the safest place in the world for it is self-custody in your wallet, right? Only you have control of that. If you have it on a centralized exchange, somebody else has control, right? Not your keys, not your coins, right? And they can steal it from you. They can freeze your accounts, whatever. You want your Ripple off of the centralized exchange in your wallet. You have self-custody. Then if you want to go sell it for Tether, do some DeFi stuff, that's where THORChain comes in. And you can do all the stuff self-custody. If you want to then put your Ripple into THORChain's liquidity pool or something like that to start earning some yield, start doing some more DeFi application stuff, that is when you're starting to trust the THORChain node operators like me. But there's 115 nodes now, and it continues to grow, and we hope to keep growing it. So as THORChain gets bigger, more nodes, it becomes more secure. In theory, anyway, should. And yeah, so that's what I'm trying to help add to the mix.
Orion, were you going to say something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point of clarification. So on the Asgard vaults, so the validator set, it gets broken up into groups that collectively custody funds in a vault together, and the vault membership is 20 nodes right now per vault. But right now we have 5 or 6 vaults. And so each one has about $30 million of bond. That's that security budget. And then they custody anywhere from $14 to $17 million of funds. So as the network grows, the vaults, the number of vaults will expand. And yeah, I just wanted to add that point of clarification. But to Kenton's point, you're looking at 20 signers that are all economically aligned to secure those assets. And that's a really powerful tool. And we've seen, this work out to the point where, THORChain passed over 100 billion in volume recently. So it's proven that this works, and I'm looking forward to making it even better as we move forward.
And I think Kenton brought up a really good point. He was talking about bridge exploits. I mean, you can think of yourself wormhole and the various things, okay? And if there's an XRPer that's listening to this space, and they might think in their mind like, well, isn't THORChain just another bridge, right? Like, could you, Orion, just break down the difference between like a bridge? Because it all depends on how you describe it. I mean, you could technically say that THORChain's a bridge and like some, but it's semantics. Like, what would you say the difference is between like a wormhole or whatever in relative to THORChain? How are they different?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that we just need to kind of define terms a little bit here. When I think of a bridge, I think of it as a tool to wrap an asset or to like custody an asset on one chain and then issue a wrapped asset on another chain. So an example of this might be WBTC, for example, which is a wrapped Bitcoin on Ethereum. It's not the Bitcoin itself; it's just a claim on that asset. So there's lots of other examples. Like I know there's many flavors of ETH or Bitcoin on other chains, like Solana, for example, and those are. There might be a bridge that custodies those assets, the real asset, like the real BTC, and then it will issue the flavor of Bitcoin on that other chain, and that's what I think of as a bridge. So you're bridging a representation of that asset onto another chain. What THORChain does is it facilitates the swap between one native asset to another native asset. It isn't. It's not like you can roll up with native XRP and then kind of wrap that into XRP on another chain, like onto Ethereum, for example. That's not what THORChain does, and it just handles this native asset swap piece. So it lets you move value between those L1 chains, but not the asset itself. And the distinction there is the asset that you hold matters and the chain that it's on matters. Often it gets kind of, people think of things as equivalents, and they are for 99% of the time until they're not. And so if you want to hold Bitcoin, hold the real thing, and you can do that through THORChain. If you want to hold XRP, hold the real thing, and you can do that through THORChain.
Excellent. Well said. And we have a new speaker, Morgan. I just invited you up. Go ahead and test your mic.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. What do you got?
Okay. My question is, what is your roadmap plan for this year 2025? Can you share with us? This is my question.
The roadmap for THORChain?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if Ryan, you want to take that?
It's quite simple. So right at this point, the roadmap for THORChain is taking a step back. THORChain has a ton of new development teams that have stepped up to deliver across all aspects of THORChain. So
Hold on a sec, Orion. Morgan, can you mute yourself? You got a lot of background noise there.
Thank you, sir.
I still need you to mute there, Morgan. There you go. All right. Yeah. So just taking a step back, there's many teams working on THORChain now, more than there have ever been in any point in its history. So the on what I call the base layer, which is Thor node, the focus right now is in optimizations, instrumentation, and security. That really hasn't changed, but we've been focused on fighting other fires. But at this point, it's just focus on the efficiency of the base layer. So that's one part of the roadmap. The other part of the roadmap is more chains. So the Strangelove team and Nine Realms have been working on adding more chain daemons and Bifrost stuff in order to facilitate all of that. And then the other part of the roadmap is growth of the app layer. And all of these things, the app layer is really critical in terms of additional utility that it brings to THORChain. Pragmatic hit all of them. There was a lot of utility there. But those are kind of the three pillars right now in order to push forward. And the roadmaps for kind of each three of those pillars are getting pushed forward kind of simultaneously because of the fact that we have dev capacity to focus on each one of those. In terms of like sequencing, we're gonna take each feature set as it's ready to launch, and we'll get it kind of launched in the order that it comes and is truly ready. One thing that we don't want to do is rush things out the door just because they were supposed to ship in a particular slot. So we're gonna just take them as they come and get them out when everybody around the table is confident that they're good to go. So that includes devs, nodes, and the community. I hope that answers your question, Morgan.
Yeah, and I'm glad you asked that question, because like if the XRPers are listening to this space and listening to this recording, there is more coming. There are more routes that are going to be added to THORChain. We're just thrilled to get you on there, because being number 4 on the market cap of all blockchain and not having this ability to go cross chain like many others have. I mean, well, it's been years now, around like 2021 since Chaos Net, where we've had this technology. So there is more possibilities coming, and more economic primitives like Pragmatic Monkey talked about. There's so much potential. So this is really just the beginning. And that's why I really encourage you guys to reach out to like Cal or Ryan or Eric or Pragmatic Monkey to really like get your devs invested in this ecosystem, because we really want to build something very special, because you guys are on a hot streak right now. And now is the time for growth. Now is the time. You guys spent so much effort raising awareness of XRP and what it does. Now this is where the rubber meets the road, and we're so thrilled to have you guys now. And that's why we were so excited to get in touch with you guys to really start merging our minds and merging our dev and start streamlining our roadmaps a little bit, because we're all going in the same direction of this future where XRP's infrastructure, THORChain's infrastructure. There are so many synergies between our communities. So if there's someone right now listening to this recording, or I see some people I don't recognize that might be XRPers, please reach out to them. This is so huge, you guys. I can't even emphasize how powerful all this stuff is. And if you guys have questions, something you don't understand, please come up, because I'm trying in the short time that we have, like a few hours to understand what we built is not enough time. So please come up, because it's hard for someone like ourselves who may understand these things very well to maybe not understand where your lack of knowledge, or maybe a nuance or a quirk that you want to understand. So now's the time to come up. Eric, go ahead. Eric, go ahead and get your mic working, buddy.
Yes, sorry about that. So we've been here for 1 hour and a half, and when we started this space, I didn't see a lot of new faces, but now I am seeing a lot of new faces. So can we pivot back a little bit and talk a little bit more about how XRP holders can put their XRP to work in the THORChain ecosystem, but they can also play around, like Rujira can become a certain some sort of decentralized playground for them. Can we just go back to that?
Yeah,
for a second?
Pragmatic Monkey, you've been on the stage with us the entire time. I know you're doing 100 million things, but you want to go ahead and just touch over that again and maybe try and put it in a new flavor for the audience.
Okay, I'll try to make it a bit shorter this time. And for anyone in the audience, if you want to have a deeper dig into it, just reach out or check our docs, join our Telegram, and we can onboard you more. But or really listen to the space from the beginning. But effectively, by being connected to THORChain, now for the first time in history, XRP got an app layer, and it means that you will be able to do all sorts of things in DeFi and with your XRP without having to rely on centralized exchanges. And finally, join this big party that has been going on Ethereum, Solana, and all those EVM chains that have smart contracts. So things you will be able to do, for example, include like trading your XRP in a 100% on-chain order book for any other tokens that are connected to THORChain, with a similar, very nice, very smooth user experience, but 100% decentralized via the Rujira front ends. You will be able to do things like using your assets to provide liquidity and become a market maker, and effectively generate a yield with a different risk profile on your XRP. By doing so, you will be able to trade perps using XRP as collateral. So if you want to play it on the markets but don't want to sell your XRP, you will be able to use that as collateral and effectively just gamble the way you want without having to sell. We are also going to launch money markets. So that means that if you want to actually use monetize your XRP stack and use it to spend money in the real world, well, instead of having to sell, you will be able to borrow at a reasonable, too much risk, and from this money to fund your real life expenses without selling your XRP. So that's also a very nice feature. A lot of people in DeFi are using and surviving throughout the bulls and bear markets this way. Now you can join the party. And there will be also the other side of that, the liquidation engine, which will allow you to liquidate people who borrow against the XRP with too much risk when market goes down. You can be the other side of the trade and buy XRP at a discount via Dutch auction process. So buying the local low at a discount. So that's quite cool and an exciting thing to do when the rest of the crypto market is crashing. And we will have a Launchpad as well. So if you want to build on this app layer, not just use the tools, but if there are actually teams of devs in the XRP community who want to come and enjoy all this infrastructure we put at your disposition to create new products and enrich this on-chain economy on top of THORChain, just reach out and we will provide you with the tools to raise capital and get you started into this new ecosystem. So a lot of more cool stuff coming in, but that's what we mean by DeFi. Like now you get to do all those things and in a 100% decentralized, trustless, permissionless fashion. And that's what blockchain is all about. So excited to have you guys here. And if there is any XRP guys in the audience now, very happy to take any questions.
Yeah, and that's, you know, what Kenton was alluding to, right? Like if you are an XRP person and you've been trying to use these extra economic primitives, money markets, leverage trading, whatever it is, right? You've been doing that in a centralized exchange, was, as Kenton said, like you don't actually own the asset. And that's not what blockchain was supposed to be about. That's not the safe way to do it. And now with this integration, what the app layer is building, what THORChain has done, now you can do that and be in custody of your own assets. And I really want the Ripple community to understand that, you know, your assets already very successful, but to go into this ecosystem where people who don't want to go on centralized exchanges, but they maybe still want to have access to your asset and do things with it. This is more swap volume. This is more activity. This is more brand awareness for XRP. And so this is so important to reach out to the speakers up here to get this ball rolling, because we are really in mega build mode. And now that we have a bit of, because of largely what XRP did, their own efforts of fighting an SEC, spending $200 million, you guys deserve this moment. You deserve it. You deserve now to have this point where you can have this explosion of like your assets becoming ubiquitous across all ecosystems when it comes to DeFi users or CeFi users, whatever, it doesn't matter. You guys have put in the hard work. And that's why we put in the hard work, like Orion alluded to, of getting XRP on THORChain, because it's what people wanted. Not just us, but various integrators too, different wallets. They wanted XRP. Here it is. Let's work together and just build this thing out. Like this is where the rubber meets the road. And we're here to do it. So reach out to Orion, reach out to Pragmatic Monkey. This is the time to do it. Guys, this has been a really good space so far. I love it. Is there anything that you think we've missed? If there's any other speaker or people who want to ask questions, please come up. I want to try and get as much information as we can today. Orion, is there anything that you think that we need to cover on the THORChain side? I think we pretty covered it pretty well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think we've been, it's been a great conversation. I think the one kind of takeaway that I want to leave folks with here is that, I'm feeling right now is a very precious time for crypto broadly and THORChain specifically. There's a lot of new users entering the market. There's a lot of new opportunities that folks have. And I just want to make sure that everybody here appreciates this moment in time and where THORChain's at in terms of, just opportunity and growth. And yeah, don't let up on the gas. We got to keep going. And, excited to join forces with XRP folks and kind of bring our collective dreams into reality. So yeah, it's a really, really awesome period in time.
100%. I couldn't agree more. This is the time to grow. This is the time to do this. And all these interfaces, there's so many interfaces that, just due to time zone, they couldn't make it. I mean, there's instant swap in the audience. They have XRP. I know Thor Wallet does. They wanted to be here, but they're traveling for crypto conferences. And just because those people couldn't make this doesn't mean they don't care. I mean, there's such a huge part of the ecosystem that's not present on this stage. And so I really just would try to push out the message that it is worth your time to really explore and get to know what THORChain and surrounding ecosystems has built. And not just the assets that are available on THORChain. I mean, there's going to be DEX aggregation pathways onto Maya protocol as well. And other, I mean, there's basically an aggregator. And so, whatever assets support on THORChain, there's actually so many more doors that open. So it takes a while to learn. It really does. To learn what is possible. But I'm hoping that we blew your mind a little bit. And please understand that I don't really like making hype. I don't like speaking for effect or exaggerating or adding embellishments to speech. I just try to speak facts. But sometimes facts are really exciting. And I hope that we've conveyed that to you guys. We've got a new speaker coming up here. Juggernaut. Let's see. Go ahead and test your mic, Juggernaut. Let's see if that's working. I'll give you a few seconds here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Jug.
Well, just one thing. It's so difficult to explain. We are showing to the entire world another way to. We are demonstrating that Satoshi Nakamoto wanted to demonstrate years ago. I mean, fuck this.
Are you basically you're trying to talk about the ethos that blockchain was originally designed upon? And we are now with THORChain integrating XRP and other ecosystems, we are now pushing the envelope in that direction. We are reverting back to what the whole point of this was. Is that what you're trying to say?
Exactly. This is possible. We can do it. It's a lot. We can do it, everyone. We can do it. Just with bonding, or you can bond with Maya, with THORChain, with everything you want. You can do it. Create a network of protocols. Indestructible. You see what I mean?
Yes, I do know what you mean. I know what you mean. And the thing that, that gets me most excited is that this is a global effort. This is a global effort. All of us are tired of the conventional system, like what XRP is trying to solve, where you have, you want to send money to someone in a different country. And by the time it gets there, that chunk of cash is much smaller, right? We're connecting the world with our various infrastructures, with our various designs. XRP is trying to solve a problem. THORChain is trying to solve a problem. MOCA is trying to solve a problem in terms of a point of sale application for businesses and allowing people to transact with blockchain tech in a way that's easy, that's brainless. The app layer, Pragmatic Monkey, they're trying to give these economic primitives that were once sequestered on centralized exchanges, only reserved for people who are okay with surrendering custody of access. Now they are, as wasn't my favorite phrase in the BTC conference, but the democratization of access is, in this way, it's a good thing. Go ahead, Jug.
Sorry, that was my point. Sorry, maybe I'm become too old, but that was one point. Ripple, XRP, no one like it, okay? Because of several reasons. But it's like rain. You can't do without. You must do with. Because you can't do without. It's like that. It exists, okay? You must do with Ripple because you can't do without. So I've seen a lot of criticism because THORChain accept Ripple XRP. Fuck this. It's a waste of time. It's there and we must do with because we cannot do without. It's life. It's like rain.
You know, there's and the thing online, there's a lot of tribalism between all ecosystems. You know, I don't have an ill thing to say about Ripple. I love what they're building. I love the innovation that they're bringing. Our job in THORChain, I think Orion can speak to this. We are here just to be neutral infrastructure, and we are just connecting all the ecosystems we can.
Agreed.
We do not choose. We don't pick favorites. Go ahead, Orion, if you want to add to that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just fresh off of the Bitcoin conference and Ross's speech. You know, the three principles of freedom, decentralization, and unity. I think Juggernaut, you're really hitting on what unity means here. It's all of the chains, all of the people, all of us working together to, you know, kind of bring freedom and decentralization, you know, into reality. So that's really been an important mantra for me over the past few days here, is just like, are my actions promoting those three things? And if they are, then I'm on the right path. If they're not, I need to correct. Right. So just to reiterate, like, I think that unity here is a critical piece.
That's the cool thing for me with THORChain and the community culture is, like, you know, to be a Bitcoin maximalist. I don't know if you guys saw my poll the other day. I'm in a group chat with some Bitcoiners, and it got a little bit tense because I was saying, you know, Bitcoin maximalism has become a bug, not a feature. Like, it's actually, I think it's turning people away from Bitcoin, because Bitcoin maxis I would argue, are largely toxic, and they're just like really, in a lot of ways, they're fascist. You know, they're antithetical to the concept of freedom, the way some of the things they espouse. Whereas a THORChain maximalist is like the most pro-freedom, you know, stereotype you could be, because we accept all chains of colors and sizes and creeds. Whatever chain you are, it doesn't matter. We want you. You know, come and trade and come and do your stuff, do your thing. You know, we welcome it all. You know, we're not here to make judgment on, you know, the quality of one protocol over another. They should all exist, and everyone should be free to trade and transact between all of them. You know, who are we to decide? So that's what's cool about being a THORChain maximalist, if you will.
Right, I agree. And again, I mentioned this before, but I'm thankful to Ripple. I'm thankful to the XRP community. They shelled out $200 million, as far as I can tell, maybe it's more, fighting for the rights of all of us that we're all sharing. I mean, like, we owe them a debt of gratitude. And THORChain has also been fighting its own fight, trying to push for permissionlessness, right? We're all trying to solve problems together. We're all pushing this envelope. We want to make a world that's freer, less friction. We want liquidity to go everywhere, all over the world. And so like this integration of XRP, I think honestly, it's one of the most synergistic relationships out there. And I just think the next step is just trying to reach out to the XRP people. So if there's someone in here listening to this, please tell them to listen to this space, share this space, share it on X, put it in if they're a Discord or Reddit or wherever they're at, I don't care. Let them know that there's an entire community that has built something very special for XRP, and that we appreciate XRP, and that we're very excited to capture and to go along the ride with them.
And I sorry to kill the vibe, guys, but you're gonna have to do without me. I got to step off. I got to get off the space. So thanks for having me. Thanks for everyone's time. And we'll talk to you all later.
Thanks, Kenton.
All right.
Thanks, Kenton. I'm in a similar boat. I got to hop as well. Just a shameless plug, though. If you're a Rune holder and looking to bond your Rune, Nine Realms is looking for new bond providers. Please reach out to myself or Cal if you're interested. We can get you more specific details. But I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for hosting this and listening in. And I'll be around X if you guys have questions throughout the day. So yeah, take care. Gotta hop.
Thanks, Orion. And I'm going to continue with the plug on Orion and the Nine Realms team. It is hard to find a team that is more professional and as competent when it comes to running infrastructure on THORChain. They provide you, I think it's monthly analytics. And they also help you just understand, like, you know, results driven. Like, they go the extra mile to make sure that you guys get as much revenue, as much income as possible. So you could not be in better hands than Nine Realms. So if you are, I think it's your minimum is 50,000, Orion, if I'm not mistaken. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you know, if you have that, please contact them. You cannot go wrong with the Nine Realms team. I've met almost everyone on Nine Realms, besides the new people who joined, of course. Excellent team, excellent service. They are wonderful. So yeah, thank you, Orion. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, appreciate it. Take care, everybody.
Take care, brother. Eric, what's up? What do you got, buddy?
Yes, I don't want to use the space for this, but I just got a message from the CTO, and he just told me that we are just finalizing the tests of XRP swaps, and we're pretty excited because we are now opening the next step, which is exactly, we are looking for beta testers for MOCA business. So if you want to help us, either you have a business or you know someone that can integrate MOCA business to their own business, their own store, their own online shop, whatever, reach out to me or to the MOCA brand account, because we're just gonna start rolling out the first businesses that accept, and we're gonna roll with the marketing. One of the verticals is gonna be pay with XRP. Why? Because everyone that knows crypto knows about XRP. And people who are not familiar with crypto, they must have heard at least about XRP. So one of the verticals is going to be pay with XRP. And if you have a business or an online store or whatever, just reach out to me, please.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I mean, your product sources THORChain and my protocol for liquidity. So absolutely do that. And if there's any XRPs listening here, you guys want to do, like, I think you guys want to do stocks and all kinds of stuff. I mean, using XRP just to buy regular goods and services. MOCA has built that. They're building it right now. So reach out to Eric, reach out to Zay, reach out to the MOCA_app on X. Help them develop this. They want testers. And I know XRP has tons and tons of businesses and corporations and various entities that are attached to XRP. MOCA can help you, as I said much earlier in the space, facilitate swaps from exogenous assets like Bitcoin, Litecoin, whatever it is, into XRP, which is straight buy pressure on XRP because arbitrageurs have to source all of their XRP from centralized exchanges. So this is an amazing synergistic relationship. So reach out to MOCA app. They're a great team. I've met them in person. They're working very hard. Pragmatic Monkey, is there something you want to add here? Because I know you've mentioned twice, like, all the things that you're building here, but you know, do you have a message to XRP, like any additional stuff, anything else you want to say? I want to make sure we try and get every nook and cranny information on this space before we wrap.
really, I think just excited to have such a big community joining the omni-chain DeFi world, and we have a ton of cool stuff in stock for you. We are just starting as well as the app layer, so a lot of more is coming. But please come in, try the products, try to connect on Rujira.network, try to trade on RUJI Trade and provide liquidity on RUJI Pool, and be in touch. Get into our community if you want to. If you have any question, if you want to be in touch, and if you want to build as well, please get in touch with me and let's figure out something. Like, we really want to grow and start kickstarting this big economic activity on top of THORChain, and that's a common venture between all of us. So yeah, don't be shy. Just reach out and let's figure out things together.
Right, and you know what? That's a great thing you mentioned there about just figuring things out. I want to rewind the clock here a little bit. I'm going to get you, Cal, in just a second. You know, THORChain had to figure out how to do cross-chain swaps. Okay, this was one of the most complicated problems to solve in order to get Bifrost to work right, to get the churns to work right, to make sure that, you know, all the nuances when it comes to separate chains. And there might be a little nuanced edge case that we discover in XRP. It almost happens every time, but we're really good at solving those problems. Getting to the point we're at now, the hard work has already been done. THORChain has done a lot of experimentation, trying to figure out what makes sense, what doesn't work. We've had a lot of wild successes. We've made some big mistakes in the past. Totally normal when you're trying to build something this time. We own our mistakes. We're proud of them. We've overcome every adversity. We're here. And now we're at the stage where we finally have figured things out. We know what works. We know what doesn't work. And now is the time where we grow, where we expand, where we can get more chains, where we add more primitives. Now is the time. So whatever you've heard about XRP, there is a long history of THORChain. I'd love to talk to you about it. Any questions whatsoever, DM me. You can DM Kenton or Ryan. It doesn't matter. We are so excited now. We're at this point where we can just grow and expand. Go ahead, Cal.
Yeah, thank you. I also got to jump. I don't know how much longer this Starlink connection is going to last for me, but I just wanted to say I'm excited about XRP, and you know, I've been talking with crypto, you know, and normies, you know, alike for so many years, and XRP is a huge part of the industry. So I'm excited that we've got it. And my team and I just launched the Ledger integration. So I'm going to jump off and get with them and test that a little bit. But thanks for doing this space. It's been really awesome. And excited to see you guys all on X, and tag me and LeoDex anytime, you know, like everyone else has said. Don't be afraid to reach out. You can tag us with feedback or anything, and we'll get right on it. So thanks again for hosting, and see you guys soon.
Hey, thanks, brother. And I totally agree with that, guys. XRP, if you want to help make this even better, reaching out to builders like LeoDex and Cal are absolutely essential. Please play with it. I know a lot of you hold your XRP on Ledger. Use their application. You know, these guys are a very hardworking team. They're very hungry. They want to make the best experience possible. And how we even make this ecosystem grow and bring in new people is the ease of use, making our things that we built just brainless and simple. And that all starts with feedback on using the tools and the things we've built. So please reach out to Cal. Please reach out to LeoDex. Play with their things. Give them feedback. They're all working very, very hard to build the most reliable tooling and capabilities with XRP. So thanks again, Cal. You're an absolute legend. Appreciate it. Okay, guys, I'm going to go to the floor one more time. If there's anyone else who wants to come up, ask any questions, but I think we pretty much efficiently covered it. I'm hoping we didn't miss anything important. Again, there's a lot to learn. Please listen to the recording more than once if you got to. There's so many exciting things happening. This is a big event for THORChain. The number 4 market cap blockchain tech, now getting access to various layer ones. It's a game changer. It's a game changer for XRP. It's a game changer for us. It's a win-win-win-win-win. And again, we couldn't be more excited. All right, guys, I don't see anything else. If there is nothing else, then we're going to just, I think, do some final thoughts here, and then we're going to wrap. So I'm just going to go down the descending line here. Eric, I'll go to you. You got any final thoughts for the audience? Any final words for the XRP members?
No final words, but what I would like to maybe propose for the next weekend, I know that there's always something happening in the THORChain and cross-chain ecosystems, but maybe I'll try to reach out to some people on the X so that they can come as guests, like confirmed guests from the XP community, so that we can hear their side of this integration. That might be something interesting for the audience right now, but also for their audience, and we can cross-pollinate a little even more. So yeah, thank you very much, Dennis, for making this. This space is definitely what we need to keep growing, and perhaps next week we will go back to streaming. So the YouTube guys, the Twitch, and the Abstract guys will hear about us.
That's a great suggestion. Yeah, I'd want to get XRP up here for sure. And you know, of course, like, you know, listening to me, I'm gonna, you know, it sounds bullish and all that stuff, but as I said earlier, I'm not exaggerating, guys. Like, this is just, it's just awesome. Okay. But I actually don't want XRP members to come up here and tell me why they think it's going to work. I want you actually to try and poke holes in the things that we're saying. You know, having our egos, you know, that, you know, I want to hear why we're going to fail, why we can make mistakes, like poke holes in what we're saying. I'm not interested in, you know, suggesting why it's going to be, there's a lot of bullish catalysts here. So tell us what, and that way we can convince to you that, you know, we're the real deal. Oh, someone requested, let's take a look here. Oh, Shapeshift intern. Okay, awesome. I'm going to get you going. So yeah, that's, we just want to reach out to you guys. So please, XRPers that are listening to this recording, share. I want to get you guys here and let's talk. Pragmatic Monkey, I'm going to go to you. Any final thoughts or things you'd like to say?
No, I think I've said it all. Just yeah, looking forward to welcome more users and builders from the XRP community and start building bridges. So yeah, welcome everyone.
Awesome, man. Yeah, and you're an absolute legend. You're a very hard worker. I love your team. Shapeshift, you're on the stage. Go ahead, buddy.
Hey, GM. I just wanted to remind everybody that from my point of view, and perhaps I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that all of these protocols were specifically engineered to unify under decentralization and freedom. So we should be spearheading that drive, and that should be our mantra, that we are here, in fact, for one thing, and that's the freedom, unity, and decentralization. Let's go. Thanks for having me up, Denny.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're here all working together, as I said. So, okay, guys, I think we're going to wrap it there. Thank you, Juggernaut. Thank you, Morgan. I appreciate it so much. This has been a really great space. Again, make sure you take the time to share this space, put it into the various places where XRP are. We have to increase our awareness of what we built here. It's something truly special. Reach out to Eric, reach out to Orion, 9 Realms, Pragmatic Monkey. Let's build this thing. Let's go. So again, guys, thank you so very much. And I hope everyone has a great day. Take care.